are specifically a couple of organizational behaviors that new DEI professionals may need to consider when they're thinking about, like, how do I help a company become more diverse, equitable, and inclusive? Because I just don't think we talk about from that organizational lens quite enough. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
I think from the organizational behavior standpoint, of course, organizations are made up of people and are made up of leaders, and there are people who have more influence and power in shaping the culture within that organization. And so for me, when I think about organizational behaviors to be more inclusive, there are behaviors, there are policies and actions and practices that are really important. You know, pay equity is something I talk a lot about in the book, talk a lot about making sure that you give effective feedback, you receive effective feedback. And then there are overarching behaviors, like approaches that define the culture. So a culture of psychological safety is really, really important. Simply put, do people from underestimated identities, like women of color, do we have the option and the ability to speak up, to challenge status quo, to take risks, and to fail without fear of retribution? And the reality is most of us don't, right? But in an organization where the behaviors modeled prioritize psychological safety, that creates a more inclusive environment. Another one is an organization which prioritizes the growth mindset, which is kind of related as well to that. You know, are we an organization where we believe you're a fixed person? And I really see this in my work in inclusion strategy and consulting, where I will meet leaders who say, oh, you know, we have members of our team who were born in a different era, or, you know, like, it's fine. We can just let bad behavior go because, you know, it's not like they're going to change. And then I have worked with and also spoken at organizations where that's not going to fly, where there is an intrinsic value that the organization has placed on behaviors that model growth, that model failure but learning from it, that model who you are today with a fixed mindset isn't who you're going to be tomorrow if you're willing to learn. And so that's an example of an organizational behavior or value that can make the biggest difference when it comes to inclusion.